Hey there, welcome back to another London Diaries video. Today we're exploring London in October, one of my favorite times of the year. The city feels extra cozy, the leaves are turning golden, and there is that perfect mix of fall charm and a little spooky Halloween energy in the air. In this vlog, I'm doing a bunch of autumn-themed activities, from cafes in the wood to exploring cemeteries, hunting down Halloween decoration in Notting Hill, and of course plenty of coffee. I started the day by heading towards Highgate because I wanted to check out Queenswood Cafe. On the bus, I started a new book from my Eiffel TBR, The Cottage Around the Corner. It's quite predictable, and the main character felt a bit immature at first, but overall it's a slow-paced, cozy read which is perfect for this kind of season. I first saw Queenswood Cafe on social media. It looks so charming and perfect for fall. I thought it would be like hidden deep in the forest, but it could not have been easier to reach. It was literally 1 minute from the bus stop. The cafe has such a charming story. It was originally built in 1898 as a woodkeeper's lodge, but they felt it to disrepairs over the years. By the late 90s, it was completely derelict and almost demolished until a local community project stepped in to restore it. When I visited, it was buzzing with people, dogs running around, kids playing, the perfect Saturday morning atmosphere. I grabbed a hot Americano, I sat outside with my book and just enjoyed the crisp air, colorful leaves and people watching. After coffee, I went for a walk through Queenswood. The forest was stunning, the trees glowing in yellows and oranges, the sound of birds and leaves crunching underfoot. I haven't done much fall hunting this year, so this was the perfect fix. Peaceful, calm, and exactly what I needed. After that, I went home to quickly drop off my bag, and then my boyfriend and I headed towards Kensal Rise. It's a part of London I've never explored before, but it had such a cute village feel, and some of the shops were already dressed up in full-on orange fall vibes. Naturally, we stopped for another coffee before making our way to the cemetery. Last year around this time we visited Highgate Cemetery, so this year we wanted to explore another one of the Magnificent Seven, Kensal Green Cemetery. A bit of history: in the 1800s, London had a serious overcrowding issue in churchyards, so Parliament approved 7 large cemeteries around the city, which became known as the Magnificent Seven. Kensal Green was actually the first, opened in 1833 and originally called All Souls Cemetery. It became popular for its elegant, peaceful design, and even more so when the Duke of Sussex was buried there in 1843, instead of having a traditional royal state funeral. Many powerful Victorians chose Kensal Green as their final resting place, which explains all the grand, ornate monuments. The design was inspired by Père Lachaise in Paris, combining formal tree-lined paths with more natural areas. It's actually been declared a site of metropolitan importance for nature conservation, home to loads of wildlife thanks to its mix of woodland, meadow and scrub. The place was much bigger than we expected and we only saw a tiny part of it, but it was surprisingly peaceful and kind of meditative. After that, we hopped on a bus and made our way to Notting Hill. I'd heard that Elgin Crescent goes all out for Halloween, so I really wanted to see it. At first it looked like a false rumor because we could not see anything. But then we turned the corner and we saw a few houses decked out in full Halloween style. There were pumpkins, skeletons, witches and ghosts. It's honestly one of the few streets in London that really embrace Halloween. Even though the holiday is celebrated here, it's pretty rare to see houses decorated. Usually it's just a pumpkin or two. Since we were already nearby, we walked on to Portobello Market, which was absolutely packed. There were local tourists, everyone enjoying the autumn weekend. Our first stop was a lovely little bookshop specializing in cookbooks, and they even offered cooking classes, and actually as soon as we walked in we were hit by the smell of fresh pasta, so it was very nice. I was hoping to find some cookbooks from YouTube chefs like Joshua Westman or Claire Safitz, but no luck. It was more traditional with a mix of Italian, French and baking book. Still, it was such a cozy spot, and I love finding these kind of places in the middle of all the market buzz. Portobello is one of those places where you never know what you'll find. I think that's part of the magic. It stretches for over a mile and it changes as you walk along. There's antiques on one hand, fruits and veg stalls in the middle, and then fashion and foods towards the other. After browsing a bit more, we just enjoyed strolling through the stalls. There were people selling handmade jewelry, vintage coats, records, and even some early Christmas bits sneaking already. After a full day of walking, coffee and exploring, we finally made our way home. We're totally ready for a cozy evening here. The next morning was one of those perfect slow Sundays at home. Grey sky outside, coffee brewing and nowhere to rush to. Of course, I started my day with a coffee, and more specifically a pumpkin spice coffee, which I made with some of the syrup I'd prepared the weekend before. And to accompany it for breakfast, I made some crêpes, and I also drizzled the same syrup on top. It was sweet, spicy, and just autumn in a bite. Later in the afternoon, I decided it was time to cook one of my pumpkins. So first I peeled and cubed it. And after it was cubed, there I tossed it in olive oil, salt and pepper. And then finally roasted in the oven until it turned golden and soft. While the pumpkin was roasting, I got inspired to do a little Halloween craft project. I actually seen the ideas in one of Carter Sullivan's vlog, and so she was making ghost frame, and I thought, oh, maybe I'll do the same. So it's super simple. I painted the background black. And then I used pages from old books to draw and cut out two little ghost shapes. Once they were cut, I glued them on and framed them together. They turned out really cute. It was such an easy DIY, but it looks really good and I can definitely reuse them next year. Once my pumpkins were ready, I started the soup. So I started by cutting 1 carrot and 1 onion. I then sauteed them in a pot until they sweat. I added the can of pumpkin that was left over with the syrup, a cube of vegetable bouillon, some paprika, and a bit of water. Lastly, I added the roasted pumpkins and let it all simmer before blending everything together. The soup came out silky, rich, and just the perfect comfort meal for a chilly October evening. It was the best way to end the weekend. And that wraps up my little adventure exploring London in October. I hope you enjoy coming along with me on this cozy autumn weekend, and I'll see you in the next video.